Hi everyone, it's Nicola from Morecambe Bay Wills, and today's top tip is around separation. So just give me 5 minutes of your time. If you have been married and you are legally separated but not yet divorced, you really need to listen to this. So when you legally divorce, if you have a will that names your husband or wife, they are treated as if they have died and they can no longer benefit from your will. That's your protection. Exactly the same as if you didn't have a will and you are divorced. Your ex-spouse cannot benefit from your estate if you die. But here's where it can go wrong. So for many couples, the process of separation is a difficult one. And you may not think that actually the most important thing to do is to make a will. But the reality is, regardless of all of the other emotions that are going on, you really should. And that was really, really highlighted to me this week when I had a call from one of my clients and his mum has passed away last week. His mum and his dad separated 30 years ago. And for all of that time, he's never had any contact with his dad, neither has his sister. But the challenge is that his mum hasn't made a will. So the law of intestacy, which is the set of rules that the law has for someone who dies without a will, now comes into play. And what that actually says is that because she's still legally married to her ex-partner, he is now entitled to all of her estate. So he now has to apply for a grant of administration to administer her estate, because he's the only person legally entitled to do it unless he renounces that right. And he and his new family and his new kids from his new relationship are going to get all of the estate, which is worth £250,000. And so my client and his sister are really entitled to nothing. So the law is protecting a married couple, but actually not protecting a separated couple. So my client, the only thing he can do is get in contact with his dad, plead with him to renounce his right to administer the estate so that he can do it for his mum, and maybe ask him whether he would be willing to sign up to something called a deed of variation, which can vary the terms of intestacy and give the money to him and his sister, who have looked after his mum for the last 30 years, rather than his dad, who's never had any contact with either them or his mum for the last 30 years. So it's left him in a terrible situation, doesn't really know where to turn, but the reality is the law isn't on his side. So if his mum had made a will, leaving everything to him, either immediately after the separation or even in the last 30 years, then they wouldn't be in this situation. So all I can say is that, you know, separating from anyone is an awfully, really, really emotional time, but really, honestly, just come make a will, give everything to your children, and then it's done. It's the kindest thing that you can do for your family. And that's something that I say over and over and over again. And this week's phone call just proved it. So if you need any help, if you need any advice, just give us a call. It's Nicola at Morecambe Bay Wills. We're on 01524 571 032. Happy to spend some time talking to you free of charge, see how we can help you and your family. Thanks a lot.